The manager takes Baphomet to a traditional house on the outskirts of the city, taunting him about living in a net cafe or sauna forever. To his surprise, Baphomet enjoys the place and prefers not living on a higher floor. During a conversation, Seol Nun asks if anything unusual occurred after the incident on the first day of Baphomet's orientation. Despite feeling constantly watched, Baphomet keeps this information to himself, not sharing it with Seong Ungun. Meanwhile, as they gathered in the dimly lit room, an observer outside the house noticed the arrival of a young man. They whispered to themselves, thinking he might be useful to their cause. Baphomet, however, sensed something amiss. He couldn't shake off his uneasy feelings, but Seong Unon, dismissive of his concerns, began to brief him about his upcoming mission. His task was crystal clear: to keep a watchful eye on a mentor assigned to a group of 4 new hunters. Seong Ungun, his voice filled with conviction, urged Baphomet to employ the technique of lore hunting. This method involved collecting clues about the puppeteer orchestrating events from the shadows. Baphomet's mission was to get close to the mentor, gather evidence of his wrongdoing, and bring him to justice. With resolve, Baphomet commenced his training under the mentor, known only by the code name Quitch. Quitch, a man who had left a job he loved for the sake of his wife, now served as the government's loyal servant. Quitch's first task for the group was challenging, leading his students into a treacherous dungeon teeming with monstrous creatures. Their instructions were simple: follow his lead and clear out the dungeon infested with D-rank monsters. But the students hesitated, fear creeping into their eyes. They questioned why they, mere F-rank hunters, had to face such formidable foes. In contrast, Baphomet remained calm. He patiently explained that military forces handled the lower-ranked E and F creatures. Hunters like them were assigned gates starting from D rank, where even military weapons proved ineffective. He had learned this from diligently studying the manual, which Sean had insisted he read to impress the mentor. As they ventured deeper into the dungeon, battling the monsters with their weapons, Baphomet astounded Quitch. He fought fiercely, even resorting to using his bare fists, displaying no signs of weakness. The young man was proving himself not only as a capable hunter, but also as a force to be reckoned with. The mentor begins to wonder if Baphomet might be an irregular hunter, a special kind of awakened hunter with extraordinary skills. He thinks Baphomet's abilities can't be just because he's naturally talented. After defeating most of the monsters in the dungeon, Baphomet gets bored fighting weak opponents. He remembers the lore hunting method and suggests using it to find the boss monster and finish the mission quickly. The mentor agrees and tells the group to gather the corpses of the slain monsters. He explains that the boss monster, a bloodthirsty creature called the Deathworm, will only show up when all the other monsters are dead, or when it smells blood. Suddenly, the massive creature appears from the depths of the dungeon. Baphomet grabs a fellow hunter's weapon and charges at the beast with incredible strength. The other hunters get worried because it's against the rules to use someone else's weapon, but Baphomet shows he can use any weapon effectively. He keeps attacking the monster and eventually defeats it. His fellow hunters cheer him on, impressed by his skills. Before we continue, let's take a moment to shout out at Ara Ara Simp, who commented, "I love it when characters have split personality or is just straight up psychopath. On our bullied assassin video, thanks for commenting." Baphomet hoped to impress his mentor and become closer to him, but it backfires. The mentor decides he's skilled enough to be an independent hunter without more guidance. Plus, he announces that Baphomet will get the magical stones they earned by slaying the monsters, which they can exchange at the management office. Baphomet couldn't believe how everything turned out. His plan wasn't working as he wanted, but there was a silver lining. One of the squad's ladies, surprisingly, asked for his phone number. That left him scratching his head. After he spilled the beans to Seong Ung-nyan about his tough task, the manager admitted he might have asked for too much. So, instead of a science task, Baphomet got a simpler one: take care of an office-level criminal hunter any way possible. Baphomet settled on a method involving a dungeon. He'd haul the body there and deal with it by taking on the boss monster. This way, the body would vanish along with the dungeon once it was cleared. He even earned some magic stones in the process. But deep down, he remained curious about his former mentor, Quitch. His frustration led him to shadow Quitch, researching his every move. Unfortunately, he found no dirt on him. Then one day, Baphomet stumbled upon Quitch's Achilles heel, his wife. Baphomet cooked up a plan. He'd stage a fake car accident involving Quitch's wife, swoop in as the hero, and then get some insider information. As he attended to her injuries inside Quitch's home, Quitch's wife got chatty. Over dinner, she acted strangely. Baphomet seized the opportunity and mentioned how devoted Quitch was, having lost his wife years ago. Quitch was taken aback and demanded an explanation. Baphomet dodged the question, pretending to need to jot down the car's license plate number. But as he wrote, it hit him. The woman he was talking to had been dead for a long time. It turns out that Baphomet had a talk with the lady about how she passed away. In their chat, the woman told him all about her life with Quitch, her childhood friend and partner throughout middle and high school. She said Quitch used to be a hunter, but when they got married, she convinced him to become a teacher. He even gave her his teleportation gadget, which hunters use to get to safe places in emergencies. Together, they had a peaceful life until the day of the gate shock. At first, the lady thought she had escaped the incident by using the teleportation device, but then she remembered how she tried to save another woman and got betrayed in the process. To escape, she used Quitch's teleportation gadget, which caused Quitch's lifelong partner to die. Now we're in the present, where Quitch has tracked down the person who rented the car in the accident. He's at the location and, surprise, he finds his wife with Baphomet. Baphomet knows Quitch is mixed up in some shady business, so he's using Quitch's wife as a bargaining chip. Out of nowhere, Baphomet shoves Quitch's wife out of a window and she falls to the ground. Quitch gets super angry and desperate. He conjures up a weapon from his stuff to fight Baphomet, who also brings out his weapon. They start battling fiercely back to back, right in the middle of all the chaos. That's when Baphomet figures out that on the day of the gate shock, he found his wife's dead body and realized someone had stolen her teleportation device. Determined to avenge her death, Quitch had planned to head to the evacuation facility. But soon, he heard that the facility was also under attack. Baphomet explains to Quitch that his wife was always fated to die, but he vehemently disagrees. Instead, Quitch confronts Baphomet, accusing him of having learned something he was never meant to know. The mentor believes that as long as Baphomet is eliminated, everything can be returned to the way it was before. With fierce determination, Quitch launches an attack, unleashing the full force of his power. He opens the windows of heaven, and with a resounding cry, he calls for everything to be restored to normal. It is clear that Quitch will stop at nothing to avenge his wife's death and set things right, even if it means going to the ends of the earth to make it happen. Despite Quitch's attack, Baphomet easily defeats him and cuts off his arm. However, Baphomet becomes angry, feeling that the fight was too easy. He insists on cutting off Quitch's leg as well, but Quitch protests, insisting that he did nothing wrong in attempting to revive his wife. Baphomet is unsure of Quitch's supposed crime, but he suspects that it was committed at the behest of a mastermind who assigned the task to the mentor. Baphomet becomes increasingly upset with Quitch for not admitting to his alleged crimes, and he prepares to kill him. At that moment, however, Baphomet's wife, who had fallen out of the window earlier and died again, returned as a monster. An emergency blue warning screen appears, notifying hunters in the area that monsters have emerged due to a system error and must be subdued immediately. Baphomet activates his passive skill outburst swiftly and forcefully, attacking the monster. He senses a malicious energy surrounding the creature and is shocked to think that a human could transform a dead body into such a monstrous form. With ferocity, he relentlessly attacks and kills the beast. However, a portion of the monster filled with numerous eyes remains intact, which goes unnoticed by Baph. Suddenly, a red screen appears before him, warning him that he is entering a dab of berserk mode, which triggers an intense desire to kill. Knowing that Baphomet intended to kill Quick anyway, he prepares to attack him. Baphomet now realizes that by killing Quick, he will be doing him a favor, as he would finally be reunited with his wife. What will happen next? Find out next time by staying tuned for our future recaps. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more great recaps.